My name is Kathy. I've been playing tennis for roughly 42 years. I started a little bit after my daughter was born. I was a school teacher for 31 years. I did take some lessons from my husband, but more lessons from maybe his assistant pro.
I took lessons at the Orinda Country Club through high school, and then I played in college. Those were in the days before Title IX, so all you had to do was show up. And I played a little bit after college, and then other things happened. Marriage, family, I didn't have anybody to play with, so I stopped.
When I was thinking about my early days in tennis, I remembered that in high school I took a tennis class, in college I took a tennis class. Only in my early 30s that I started playing tennis regularly.
I'm B. Enix. I'm a retired middle school math teacher. I taught for about 33 years and I retired 9 years ago, so I've had time to play tennis since then.
My name's Chris. I'm the tennis instructor for this group of ladies. We do drills once a week, and it all started years ago when my dad told me we have no athletic ability in the family, so we better learn to use our brains. That said, as the ages changed and when the women got a little bit older, we had to adapt to that. And so now we're working more on angles where the ball bounces and crosses a double sideline. We can no longer just muscle up and hit right through our opponents just because we can't hit the ball that hard anymore. So we then try to be a little sneakier, drop shot, bring them in. Once we've brought them in, lob them, make them run back, bring them back in, run them back until they get really irritated with us, and that's a lot of fun. As we adapt for our age, flexibility is important, stamina is important, and posture so that we don't fall is much more important. There's nothing worse than having somebody 70 or over fall down. They usually put their hand down, break a wrist or something. So we work on our posture and balance.
A couple of the boys in my math class, 8th grade boys, felt when they heard that I played tennis that they felt that they could beat just an old woman who, at that time I was maybe 50. So they challenged me to play, and we had to have a little bet. And one of them said, okay, if I win, or if you win, I'll be good in class the rest of the year and I'll do all my homework. So I said, good deal. I didn't tell him what my side of the bet would be because I couldn't figure out what he could expect from me. So we went out and played, and a big crowd gathered around the tennis courts. We had tennis courts at that time at our school. And I won. I mean, he hardly knew how to play. He just figured he could muscle the ball over the net. But, I think I gained some respect from him that yeah, old women can do okay too. And he followed through with his promise. He also came back to visit me many years later with his own son. I've always admired older players, even when I was young and playing against more experienced people. They know where to put the ball, where to hit the ball, how to hit the ball. I gained a great admiration for that skill. And what I've discovered since taking lessons with Chris, I've gained some of those skills too. I can drop shot and lob, and not always successfully, but certainly better than I ever could before. I got 2 in the bucket. Yep. Transferring that skill on Wednesday to a Saturday or a Monday, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But
I'd say I'm a better player now in my second tennis life than I was in my first. And that's partly because I'm learning to play smarter, and I'm much more patient. Chris has also helped us work on other shots, a drop shot, a lob, a short angle, that are all tools in a toolbox. So Chris also works with us on posture. It helps with hitting the ball, but it also helps you not fall. And we do this by wearing a baseball cap upside down on our heads. And if you look down or if your head moves, the ball cap falls off.
I'm known for liking to lob a lot, but I'm trying to work on the drop shot so that I can follow the drop shot with a lob. How do I like the hats drill? Well, we all bend over more than we want to bend over. Once you get the hat on right, makes it so that you can't, or you would lose your hat.
I would say that my game has gotten better over the years, mainly because I started taking lessons and playing on teams. I think the main issues with my game now are that I just don't move as well as I used to, and I need to be very careful of my knees. I used to be able to play possibly twice in one day. Now it's more like twice in a week. That's about all I can take. Several years ago, I deliberately took up a riskier style of tennis, and the point was that I could get through the games more quickly, it would be easier on my body, and so I began looking for opportunities to put the ball away whenever I could, to be a little more aggressive about taking the point. I would say I probably make more mistakes than most people at my ability level and age, but I also am closing a lot more points than I used to, finishing off a lot more points than I used to. And sometimes I like to say to my partner, you keep the ball in play and I will put it away. So I like to think of myself as the closer on the tennis court. I just love tennis, and I would like to keep going for at least another 10 years or so, as long as my body holds up and as long as I'm still having fun.
I'm 72. I plan to play into my 80s, maybe beyond. I'll play as long as I'm having fun and I'm healthy, able to enjoy it.
It's a lifelong sport. You can play as long as you're physically able.
I don't know how much longer I'll play, as long as I have friends to play with. And most of my friends are in their 50s to 70s. So, as long as they want to play, I'll play.